It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Keefe. Thank you very much for joining us today as we kick off another great week ahead here in the greater West Bloomfield area. And as we get into this week, we look forward to what's happening later on in the week where we get into the thick of election season. Early voting is on its way, begins later on this week. We have Jake Schaff with us from our team out in the field for even more details, as our early voting center in Greater West Bloomfield is a one-stop shop for all four of our communities. Jake Schaff with us live at the West Bloomfield Library with more.
Hey, Tyler, good morning. Glad to be out here at the West Bloomfield Library where, yes, election season is almost underway. And actually, it currently is underway. In just a couple weeks, on November 5th, the general election polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. But maybe you're not going to be there that day, so there's going to be opportunities to vote early. And that is because early voting at the West Bloomfield Township Public Library, where I am right now, live, is going to be kicking off on October 26th and will be going all the way until November 3rd. Now, the hours for those days, for voting on those days, is going to be from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. The only exception being on Thursday, Halloween, when it will be from noon to 8 o'clock p.m. So plenty of opportunities to get those votes in if you are not going to be able to vote on November 5th. And I also spoke with West Bloomfield Township Clerk Debbie Binder this morning, who reminded me the importance of highlighting the difference between early voting and absentee voting. Now, absentee voting has to be done at home, and you have to drop off those ballots to the clerk's office. But early voting can be done right here, and the best part is, if you make a mistake, let's say you fill in one too many little circles in the ballot, you can get a refresher and you can get a new ballot to make sure that everything is perfect. Because as we know, Tyler, in the eternal words of Jeff Probst, once the votes are in, the decision is final. And it's important that your decision matters just as much as anybody else's, and it's important to know that all of your information is correct.
Thank you for that report, Jake. And it is really important information because people will have an opportunity to vote before Election Day. They have many days to do that. That all begins this weekend. But, Jake, on top of early voting all being at the West Bloomfield Township Public Library, another added benefit to this time is also a factor because they have several days to make their decisions and ultimately put that vote forward before Election Day.
That's absolutely right. Time is very, very important. And this is a big decision, Tyler. This is the election for many, many different offices, including the President of the United States. So it's important to have as much time as possible to make that decision.
And that will be the case for voters all across all four of our communities. The main library at the West Bloomfield Township Public Library, Walnut Lake Road in West Bloomfield, the dedicated early voting center for all four of our greater West Bloomfield communities. You can also go to the county's early voting center. More information on that can be found on oakgov.com/clerk. Jake Schaff live from the West Bloomfield Township Public Library. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tyler.
Early voting begins this weekend. Contact your local clerk in West Bloomfield, Keego Harbor, Orchard Lake Village, and Sylvan Lake for even more information. We know that registration concludes today for voters across the state of Michigan. This is the last day you can register to vote, other than beyond this date, going to your clerk's office and registering to vote in person. So if you're looking to register to vote online or you're looking to register to vote by mail, that's got to be done. That's got to at least be postmarked today or be done online and fully registered today. Otherwise, you'll have to go to your local clerk's office, register there, and move on to the election from that point. But early voting on its way, wbtownship.org. Navigate to their clerk's office page for even more information. Really easy process to go through. We had an inside look at that before the primary election back in August. That is on civiccentertv.com as we speak. I had a chance to take a look inside the early voting center with West Bloomfield Township Clerk Debbie Binder. Election season brings us to this particular fall, but all across the fall, plenty of fun and games and events across our 4 communities to get you into the fall spirit. That includes later on this week with our friends over at West Bloomfield Parks. You can get into the fall spirit with their corn cob campfires happening at the Recreation Activity Center. That's going to be October 25th from 6 to 7 p.m. and it's filled with all the goodies. Fix up your corn cob with traditional salt and pepper or other interesting toppings as well to make it for a tasty experience in front of the campfire with some friendly faces to celebrate the fall. Bring your blankets, enjoy some hot cider and a cozy campfire with Halloween music, classic cartoons, and a spooktacular mood. That is what's been guaranteed by our friends at West Bloomfield Parks. Registration for the Corn Cob Campfire is open as we speak, despite it marching toward that final day on October 25th. Register for the event, learn more about it on wbparks.org, and find more of their fun fall events coming up on Facebook at WB Parks. Also happening this weekend, a really important date for people across our community that maybe have been to the hospital recently, maybe have switched medications or are no longer taking some of what is in their medicine cabinet. You want to make sure that's cleared out so you and others aren't at risk of taking some medications they shouldn't be taking or getting those medications into the wrong hands. The West Bloomfield Police Department, among many others in our local area, will be participating in the DEA's National Drug Take-Back Day happening this weekend. That's going to be at the main branch of the West Bloomfield Police Department at their headquarters right next door to us at Town Hall, Saturday, October 26th from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. Bring your expired or your unwanted medications. That's what's really important here, is whether your medication is expired, and even though you maybe had it for safekeeping and then in case you need it basis, if it's no longer safe to have in your home because it's expired, a great reason to bring it to the West Bloomfield Township Police Department headquarters. Or if you have medications you're no longer using. Look, I was recently hospitalized. I had some pain medication, very strong medication that they gave me that I really have no use for anymore. So I will be going to my local police department, who's also participating in this over the weekend, and dropping those drugs off so that they're no longer in my home. Somebody comes in, whether it's from the apartment complex doing maintenance work, or it's friends or family or others they have over, and they're exploring throughout my apartment, they're not going to go into my medicine cabinet, take something they shouldn't have, and maybe put themselves or others in harm. Great opportunity for you to do this. They do want to let you know no liquids and no sharps will be accepted at this event, but the friendly people at the West Bloomfield Police Department will have plenty of more information on how to dispose of those safely if you contact them now or over the weekend on National Drug Take-Back Day in partnership with the DEA. More information on Drug Take-Back Day and what you need to know can be found on their Facebook page at West Bloomfield PD. And again, that is coming up Saturday, October 26th from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. Last week, Friday, much better results than the previous Thursday for your West Bloomfield Lakers varsity football team as they head out of the OAA Red and took a short distance over to Birmingham to take on the Seaholm Maples of the OAA Blue. We had a chance last week to preview that game with Evan Stockton, who had the call from the Prep Sports, and ultimately a great game for the Lake Shore, defeating the Maples 34-3 in that tough environment as they look toward their final week of the regular season on the road at Roseville on Friday. Here for more analysis on the Lakers' big Week 8 victory is our color commentator for our coverage of Laker football, Matt Gattoni. Thank you so much for being with us.
Yep, thank you for having me.
Glad to have you to talk about this, and it's always happy to talk about a game after a victory, especially a resounding victory like this, 34-3 against a team that had some familiarity to West Bloomfield, having gone up earlier this season against a very similar offense in Rochester Adams, running that old classic Veer running system. And, well, West Bloomfield this time around, much easier going than they had a few weeks back in Rochester.
Yeah, and what really stands out to me about this win is, it's against one of the top Division II opponents in all of Michigan and, on the road. Beating a good opponent on the road is hard to do, and especially, the Lakers have struggled on the road this year. And getting a win like this before playing a team like Roseville this week on the road is huge. And hopefully they're able to rattle off another win and keep that momentum going into the playoffs, where very good chance they'll be playing on the road.
Yeah, it's almost guaranteed at this point that West Bloomfield's going to be playing on the road. There's a lot of scenarios that have to play out to even give the Lakers a chance at a playoff home game, and that's all the more reason why Coach Hilbers and the staff wanted to make these last 2 weeks a point of emphasis to get things right, to get into the right rhythm, to be making the right decisions. And we really started to see that from the Lakers on Friday when they were out in Birmingham playing Seaholm in a tough environment, a passionate environment on their homecoming night. And Matt, what was really impressive from the Lakers, their physicality on the defensive side of the ball, because part of that Veer offense for Seaholm is getting in the trenches and going up toe-to-toe with some of the toughest players in the state of Michigan. West Bloomfield showing their size and their might in the interior on Friday.
Yeah, that's one thing that has stood out with the Lakers sometimes this year. There's been times, against Birmingham Groves, Rochester Adams, two of the best offensive lines you're going to see across the state, where they kind of got pushed around a little bit. But there's also been times where, like this past Friday, where they go out and they establish themselves as a physical team. And that is going to be huge going forward. And especially this next week, if they're able to rattle off back-to-back weeks, and it's not just, what we've seen them before. They lose 1 week and then they come back and play much more physical and emotional.
The Lakers coming into this week 4-4 overall. They're going to be going out to Roseville, another Division II powerhouse who's 6-2 overall. They just came off of a big, physical, tough battle, a 21-19 victory at home last week against Romeo. And they have some momentum and a third consecutive home game. So this is no easy task for the Lakers, who have kind of been feast or famine throughout the season. They come off of a big win. It seems like sometimes they take a step back, or another team's just really taking a step forward and punches them in the mouth. What are you looking for from the Lakers this week as they try to answer a very impressive road victory against Seaholm and try to finish off the season strong with momentum for the playoffs at Roseville?
Yeah, that's one thing that you said. I just got to pick up on that really quick. That a lot of the Lakers struggles this year they've been playing these teams that are taking that step up, where they're trying to avoid taking that step back. And it's kind of like Rocky. They got to get that eye of the tiger back. And this week is going to be huge. They're playing another team that historically Roseville hasn't really done that much, and they're on the ascent as a program. And if the Lakers can get a win this week, it can really, send another message across the state of Michigan. Like, yeah, we're having an off year, but you're still not us. So this week, what I really want to see them do in another tough road environment is just protect the football, get Josh Tate going a little bit, and, try and limit those big passing plays that Roseville's offense is going to look for.
And it's no secret, the Lakers are on a collision course for some of the Division I powerhouses early on and all throughout the playoffs. Right now, a couple different scenarios have them maybe in a district that includes Belleville down the line in a potential regional matchup. Right now, those early postseason matchups have them looking at maybe a Novi Detroit Catholic Central or a Novi High School, both teams with very few losses on the season, who are some of the top-ranked teams in the state and are performing at the highest level we've seen from those programs in a number of years. And that's why you really look at your veteran players and hope that they're playing their best football right now. And for the Lakers, no better example of that being the case than their quarterback, Bo Jackson, who had a fantastic week once again at Seaholm, 10 for 13, 173 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He has been the MVP these last few weeks.
Yeah, and really, since we've seen the Lakers commit to him more as a starter, we've seen them, really pay dividends for them. Like we've seen in the comments, and we've said it ourselves, that, maybe the offense would benefit from just committing to him or Shakespeare, but just making that decision at the end of the day. And that has certainly been the case once they've committed to Bo Jackson. Once he's gotten some chemistry, gotten used to being back there more and throwing the passes to the talented receivers he has with Elijah Durham and Flowers, it has just been incredible to see the growth and steps that he's taken forward these past few weeks.
Elijah Durham catching 2 of those 3 touchdowns from Bo Jackson, that senior-to-senior connection. And for Elijah Durham, it's been 2 consecutive weeks where he's had multiple touchdown games. He had 3 multi-touchdown games all throughout last season, 2 in the regular season and 1 in the playoffs on the road at Ike. And it seems like that connection's really coming into play. But Matt, you mentioned Josh Tate earlier on. Offensively, been a really key player for the Lakers, has struggled in recent weeks to put up those big-time performances after a breakout career game against Lake Orion. But the benefit of that has been it's taken a little bit of the pressure off of those other skill players and given some of those hidden wrinkle players down the depth chart a chance to shine. And that guy last week was Malcolm Gibson.
Yeah, Malcolm Gibson, we saw him get a few carries in just a handful of weeks ago. Just once the game had gotten out of hand, they started to factor him in a little bit, and we said to ourselves during the broadcast, is this a sign that down the stretch, they're going to try and get him some carries and see if he can contribute down the line in a playoff run? It is certainly starting to look like they think that is the case, and that is going to be huge down the line because you don't want to just be pumping the ball to Josh Tate solely. You want to be able to have other guys that you can supplement in the run game, kind of give them a breather on the sideline if need be, or, different look in the run game can always help.
The offense always has the flash, always gets the glitz and the glamour toward them. They put up 34 points last week, Matt. They deserve to have that praise. But that defense only gave up 3 points against a very tough Seaholm team that runs the ball really well and has been extremely impressive in the trenches. That's a huge key for the Lakers going forward, too, because as great as that defensive line was last week, they have struggled against some teams of equal size. But what's kept the Lakers in the game in those sort of matchups has been that secondary, too. Guys like Corey Pittman and Kalik Robinson, Kylo Dickerson, John Edison also having an excellent season, including his performance last week. This defense seems to also be stepping up in these big moments, too. When the offense is firing on every cylinder, it seems like that helps to catapult that defense to a next level that's really impressive.
Yeah, really, some of the times where we've seen the defense struggle especially is, kind of like where they don't necessarily give up, but like the dam breaks, the water overflows eventually because the offense has been struggling and they were sort of just put in bad positions and eventually, it gives way. But when the offense, as you mentioned, is firing on all cylinders and playing well, you see the defense, come alive a bit and start to make these plays, force turnovers, get sacks. And that is going to be huge down the line because, we've seen in past, even though the OAA teams may not necessarily have the best of seasons or what they think, they can always end up making a run. And last year we saw in that state semis game between Southfield A&T and West Bloomfield, those really were the 2 best teams in the state. And as Southfield A&T went to go on and win the state title, just got to make the dance.
Yeah, Coach Helbers told me last week the team he was kind of looking at as being their example actually is one of their biggest rivals. Clarkston last year made it all the way to the state quarterfinals, that classic finish against West Bloomfield. They were in a very similar position, just at or just over 500 going into the playoffs. They got hot at the right time. They started playing their right football at the right time, and they ended up getting quite far in the playoffs, a play or 2 away, as Coach Hilbert said, from maybe themselves playing at Ford Field. West Bloomfield in that position as we head into the regular season finale. Friday night, 7 o'clock kickoff on the road in Roseville. We're in contact with the team over at Roseville High School, and we will keep you informed on our potential coverage on Friday on civiccentertv.com/Lakersports. Matt, thank you as always.
Yep, thank you for having me.
I'll be on the call. Matt will be there with even more analysis on Friday night as well as we continue our coverage of the Lakers throughout the regular season and hopefully a nice long playoff run ahead. Again, all of that is online on civiccentertv.com/Lakersports. If you missed our coverage of the game last week, well, look, we didn't have a live broadcast. Our friends over at the Prep Sports ended up covering that game. We have a link to that on our website so you can keep up to date on what the Lakers have been doing in their performances these last few weeks and get yourself prepared for a very big regular season finale on Friday night. They're going up against a 2-loss team in Roseville, 6-2 overall, a Division II powerhouse, one of the top playoff point teams in Division II, and they're jockeying for position in the playoffs where they could potentially go up against some of the toughest teams in the state, the Catholic Centrals, the Novi Wildcats of the world, even some familiar foes like Oxford or Clarkston could be back on the docket in the first couple weeks of the playoffs. So high drama in West Bloomfield. It's exciting when you get toward playoff time in Greater West Bloomfield. Here close to home, an entrepreneur program with Swag Kids Gym is coming in 2025, helping to expand our local business community from somebody right here in our local business community who knows a thing or two about building a legacy in Greater West Bloomfield. That man is Ralph Tompkins from Swag Kids Gym, and he joins us now on the Splash Live. Ralph, thanks for being with us.
Tyler, it's always good to see you, man. How's it going?
Doing just fine, and always good to talk to you as well. I want to get into this because this is really cool what you're doing. It's an exclusive program led by you that's helping some other business owners kind of get that kickstart here in our community. Take us a little bit through this entrepreneurship program that you're helping to lead.
Well, first and foremost, man, it's been in my heart to do for a few years now. I started the business of Swag Kids Gym in my early 30s, and it was just, it was really amazing for me to go through all the ups and downs and everything that it really takes to become a business owner and have your own storefront and really determine everything and make everything happen. So I've always wanted the opportunity to reach out to kids and encourage them in many different ways. And now I think what's most important is giving them the opportunity to find their voice, use their mind, and explore different things other than physical fitness and things of that nature. And I want to have an opportunity to give them to where if they want to start their own business or think about starting their own business, really give them the tools and learning tools to success for them to really feel like they can really do it. And kids can do anything they put their minds to. So why not start an entrepreneurship school for those who may have the interest or don't know, or maybe they just want to learn how to possibly create their own business and do things that really encourage them to be the best version of themselves.
And nowadays, whether it's parents, whether it's teachers, whether it's just other adults on the outside looking in on these kids' lives are trying to find different ways to get them engaged, get them off these devices, outside and playing, using what they're learning in school, what they're creatively thinking, and applying that to something that's productive and helpful to them and to the greater society. But what's really interesting too, Ralph, is that kids really want to take what they've experienced already in their young lives and apply it to something they're passionate about. So, what's been the initial response to this from the kids themselves? What's the interest looking like?
Well, it's been really great. Like when I created that social media post about a week ago, obviously from the parent perspective, they're like, wow, this is incredible. What a great idea. What a fantastic idea. And like you said, Tyler, like kids, they are so smart. They learn so much. They're so creative. So the avenue that we wish to create for this is to pull all of that into one pot. Like, let's use that intelligence. Let's use your creativity and let's put it in a structured setting to where it can be easy to information that they get is easy to understand. And they can really put some real great usage into like, hey, let's learn about what entrepreneurship is, what it takes, the difficulties that you're going to have, the opportunities to mitigate some of the difficulties. And then the cool part about this program, Tyler, is that they're going to actually get the opportunity to put it in play. Like, hey, they get to create their business name. We're going to create a workshop where they can actually sell their products and ideas. So they have that real life experience of where like, hey, like I've created my business. Now what's next? What's next is developing the business. And then once it's developed, I want to put it in front of people and actually have them sell it. So the parents and the kids they're really been really great response for us because again, they understand what it takes as far as the process of creating their own business, but then they actually get an opportunity. And Swag is all about creating opportunities for kids to do anything that they put their minds to and their bodies to. This is just an extension of the original vision. And we're just super excited to have the Young Entrepreneur Program launched in 2025.
Ralph Tompkins joins us on the Splash Live, a local entrepreneur that you know from his time developing and growing Swag Kids Gym right here in the Greater West Bloomfield community, now running an entrepreneurship program to help kids take on some of those same challenges and conquer them like they conquer their challenges in his gym each and every day. And Ralph, combining those two together is kind of a passion project for you, but how can you connect what you do day by day with these younger kids in Swag Kids Gym and ultimately still apply those principles to something a little bit more intricate like this in growing a business for kids of a variety of different ages?
Yeah, well, the great opportunity and challenge for that, Tyler, is this again, similar to how we do all of our programs. We make sure that we'll make sure that these kids have the basic understanding of what entrepreneurship is. So we'll have brainstorming sessions. So again, it's very similar in terms of what we do at Swag. We give the kids the opportunity to be the best versions of themselves. So a lot of times it's going to be a similar structure. They're going to get an opportunity to introduce themselves like they do here, share their name and share something that they're passionate about or an interest. So it gives the kids a voice. We're going to give the kids a voice like we always do within the gym, but within the structure of learning. So they'll actually have active team building activities that happen within the gym because, as we know, some kids really love the opportunity to really move and socialize at the same time. So we'll have a little bit of a classroom setting. We're also going to utilize the gym to do team building activities. And sometimes when you're running around or doing different team building activities in groups, that's when that's when your ingenuity really comes in. A lot of times, as you know, for us adults, once we get a good workout in or a good walk or take a break, that's when our ideas really start popping. So it's a great opportunity to really merge classroom learning with kind of like still some active and activities. So like again, this entrepreneurship program is going to be something like people have never seen before. But again, they're going to get the opportunity to get taught at their level, not above it. And we're going to teach to the lowest common denominator kids. We're going to build confidence in them. And then they're going to get the opportunity to showcase everything that they learn and put it in an active learning style. So it's going to be on the display with the expo where they're going to be able to sell their products and sell their ideas and sell their business. And they're going to get to learn in real time what these things are and get rewarded for the work that they put in, which is at the end of the day, every parent wants that for their kids. We want that for the kids. And it's just going to be a great opportunity for them to take a step ahead and really get the steps in and learn exactly what it takes to be an entrepreneur.
And they're doing this at a really young age. Because what's unique about this entrepreneurship program is it's right within your wheelhouse of the age groups that you work with day to day. It's not teens that are in high school taking business classes or young adults who are maybe studying business or are building their businesses actively. These are younger kids. So who will this program be available to?
Yeah, so we're still fine tuning it, but my thought processes would be really first grade to like 12 years old. So like 6 to 12, because there's a lot of, yeah, I know. Yeah, 6 to 12 is really the target range for that. And again, like creativeness, intelligence, and aptness and willing to learn, it starts early. So in my mind, why not impart knowledge and wisdom and understanding? This is going to be an opportunity where if they start the program, they could continue to do it on a continual basis because as we know, the world of business is changing constantly. So being able to teach these kids where they're at and then understanding where they're just learning the entrepreneurship journey, or if they've been in our program once it starts up, if they come back for a following session, it's always just good to refresh on fundamental knowledge of how you start your business, what you do, and you can take it to the next level. So there's really no wasted time. There's only opportunity. Maybe their business even grows and they develop another sector of their business, but it still goes back to the roots of like, hey, what is it? What do I need to do? How do I need to do it? How do I apply it in real time in front of consumers and customers, whether that's in person, whether it's virtually, or being able for these kids to actually be an inspiration to other kids because they see like, hey, my peers developed this business and they learned it from here. Because my friend is here and they're learning it, I want to be a part of that too. So these kids really get the opportunity to be real leaders in their school area, in their neighborhoods, and all over because they're taking the time and the opportunity to learn how business really works. They problem solve, they mitigate, and they create opportunities for growth within themselves. And to me, that's just a win-win all day long.
Ralph Tompkins is spearheading this program out of Swag Kids Gym right here in West Bloomfield. This 8-week entrepreneurial program through Swag Kids Gym will be happening in 2025, ages 7 to 12. More eligibility requirements and more information on this program can be found on their website, swagkidsgym.com, or find them also on Facebook at Swag Kids Gym. Ralph, before we let you go, ultimately, when you get to the end of these 8 weeks, of the 16 hours of information and learning and active learning for these kids, what do you hope that they take away beyond just simply turning their ideas into something live and active?
You know, the biggest thing that I want them to take away from this program is life is definitely a marathon. And the more opportunities that you have to problem solve and figure out what to do and how to do it to make things in your life better, the better you're going to be. As we know, these challenges, issues, opportunities are always going to be there in life. It's just really of a matter of like, how are you going to attack being successful? How are you going to attack the wisdom that you get? How are you going to deal with success? How are you going to deal with failure? And ultimately, can you really be that person that is going to maintain themselves when change happen? And change is going to happen. It's just a matter of planning for it, being prepared, keeping a positive attitude, and going back to what is first, which is like, why do I do what I do, and what is my passion and my purpose? And this entrepreneurship program is one way and a big avenue for them to continue their life journey in different avenues of their life and whatever they choose to do, how to manage expectations and problem solve and be happy and give effort and be okay with failure, and knowing that when you fall down, you can't get back up. You just have to figure out how to do it. And it always goes back to why you do it.
It's creative, it's fun, it's using ingenuity. It's all those skills that you're learning in the classroom that you're learning out in life as you're playing with friends and growing up, and it's going to help to extend out to so many areas of their lives going forward. Ralph, thank you so much for giving us insight on this incredible program you got coming in 2025.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you as always. It's always good seeing you. And yeah, keep up with us. It's going to be a revolutionary program. We're working on a lot of big things for it. So thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, thanks for joining us to tell us even more. We'll definitely keep in contact with Ralph and the team at Swag Kids Gym as they move this forward, keep you up to date on what's happening with this 8-week entrepreneurial program for kids ages 7 to 12. To take those ideas they have and bring them to action, learn some life skills along the way, and have a whole lot of fun as they do each and every day over there at Swag Kids Gym in West Bloomfield. Again, more information on this program is already available for you on their website at swagkidsgym.com, as well as on their Facebook page at Swag Kids Gym. Really cool stuff that's happening from this local business to our local kids right here in the greater West Bloomfield area, and really just a culture of excellence being fostered in our kids and in our local business community. And that culture of excellence ends up moving out into other areas of our community as well. And that's certainly on display over right next door to us at the West Bloomfield Township Public Library, who's being recognized across the entire state of Michigan for their pursuit and their capturing of excellence in our community and beyond. Joining us for an exciting announcement and even more information on a special award being delivered to the West Bloomfield Township Public Library is their director, Kathy Russ. Thank you so much for being with us, Kathy.
Oh, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It's nice to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too, and especially under these circumstances, want to extend a congratulations out to the library, one of 3 across the state of Michigan that received the State Librarian's Citation of Excellence from the Library of Michigan in 2024. Take us through those first moments after you got this announcement coming through your inbox earlier on this month that the library here in West Bloomfield was being recognized as among the best in the entire state.
Yes, we had applied for the award, I want to say back in August. And, then you just have to wait and see what happens. And I want to say it was at the beginning of the month that I got the email. And I didn't forget about applying for the award, but you just try to put it out of your mind and keep your fingers crossed. And then when I got the email, I remember it was on a Monday. And I remember thinking, oh, this is a good Monday. Mondays sometimes aren't so great, but very flattering, very just rewarding. And I'm just very appreciative that the committee saw, I think, what the community sees, and certainly what I see with the West Bloomfield Library, and chose to recognize us.
And Kathy, we know the West Bloomfield Library has, for many years, for decades, sustained itself as one of the more respected libraries in Southeast Michigan and across the state of Michigan. But how do you believe the work that's been done in the last 5 to 10 years has pushed them forward to the point where they've gone from being a good library, maybe even a great library, to one of the best in the entire state?
Well, I have to give a lot of credit to the previous director, Clara Borer. She laid a really fantastic foundation. And then when I started at the library about 4 years ago, I wanted to build on that. And I think it's certainly a team effort. It's not, it's never just one person. And this was one of the main themes of our award application, is that we really try to involve the community. We listen to the community. We want the feedback, and then we want to give the people what they want. So it's a team effort. It goes from the community to the staff and library administration. But we would not be able to do what we do without the support of the library board. The Friends of the Library certainly contribute to that. All of our community partners, like we have a fantastic relationship with the Parks Department and the township, police and fire, the community coalition, on and on. So what I really wanted to get across in this award application, and what what I'm really gratified that they chose to recognize, is it's a team effort. This is really an award that goes to the whole community, the whole organization, because it just involved everybody.
That's all the faces that we've seen on this program over the years that have talked to us about a variety of programs, whether it's been yourself or it's been Jeff Crocker, Victoria Edwards, Emily Tobin, the whole team, and so many others that we don't see behind the scenes that contribute to this. And that's really what was at the crux of the application. The state librarian's office, in order to qualify for this, you have to fill out what's called a community needs assessment that focuses on a few specifics: spaces, services, and collections. How have those evolved in recent years, or how has the West Bloomfield Township's public libraries, spaces, services, and collections ultimately been led by that team to be at a point of excellence that it's at in 2024 and beyond?
Sure. Well, that's a great question. And I should say, too, I was on the State Librarians Award of Excellence Committee for many years. So I understood the inner workings of the committee. And this year we did a lot based on the community needs assessment that the West Bloomfield Library did in 2023. So I got off the committee. I said, I'm not going to be on the committee this year, because I knew this year I really wanted to apply for the award. And the reason for that is we took the recommendations and the wishes of the people who responded to the community needs assessment to heart, and implemented them. So it was a process, along a little bit of a journey. But specifically, we redid a lot of spaces. We repurposed the community, the former computer lab, into the community commons, which is like a third meeting space. The community really wanted more meeting space. We have a large meeting room, we have a small conference room, but we really didn't have that in-between space. So we repurposed the computer room to provide that. But it's also a space where we can teach classes, we can have open group study. There's just so many things that we can do with that space. And then we took a quiet study room. We have 2 quiet study rooms, and one was really sufficient. So we took the second one and turned it into what we call the reflection room. We have a lot of people who come to the library and stay all day, studying, working, doing, whatever it is that they're working on. And sometimes you just need a break and you want to just chill. And, it's a lovely space where you can sit, you can stare out into the greenery, into the woods behind the library, comfortable chairs, you can do some yoga, just have that quiet time. And then we also put in the storybook trail with the help of the Parks Department. And none of those projects would have been possible without some really generous donations and bequests from members of the community. So again, bringing that community feedback, but also the community generosity into these projects. So those were 3 of the biggies. But we also tried to just add, people wanted more programming, we added more programming, things like that. So again, we put everything into that award application, and it worked.
It did. One of 3 libraries across the entire state of Michigan that the State Librarian's Office awarded the Citation of Excellence across the state of Michigan for 2024. In the 23rd year of this award's existence, this is the 2nd time now that West Bloomfield's library has been recognized for this, the last time being all the way back in 2009. And what does that say, Kathy, in your opinion, about the continued evolution of this library that, 15 years ago, they were recognized for their excellence, for their development, for their spaces, services, and collections then. And a lot's changed in 15 years, but one thing stayed the same. West Bloomfield's kept up to date as being an A-plus library.
And I appreciate you bringing that up, because I have that little statue in my office, and 2009, so 15 years ago. And to me, what it says is that this library, from the board to the staff, to administration, the friends, everybody involved in this library believes in continuous improvement. And we do not want to rest on our laurels. We don't want to coast. I just don't, I think organizations die when they do that. So we want to keep getting better. And you can have a great library, you can provide great services, but there's always room for improvement. And so to me, what it means is that we just keep building on that really solid foundation. And to be frank, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to, when I had the opportunity to come to this library, I really wanted to be here, because that's very appealing. I mean, that the staff really takes the public feedback to heart and wants to give the community members what they're asking for. And I believe in that too. So I didn't have to convince anybody. They were already there. And just to keep building on it. And it's a lot of fun because it's so positive. There's some negative things in the world today, but to come to work in such a positive environment, it's really wonderful.
And when you're so forward-facing in a community like this, you see that love and that passion from the team really on display in every one of these actions. It's very obvious by seeing how this has developed over the years and how these programs and these spaces, these services continue to evolve at the library, that team on the front end you talked about is so passionate about this, and that shows in their work. Kathy Russ is with us, the director of the West Bloomfield Township Public Library, one of 3 across the state recognized by the state librarians. Citation of Excellence, there it is on your screen on civiccentertv.com, the big award for 2024, which also came along with its own surprise as well, a $1,000 gift to purchase ebooks and other materials. Take us through a little bit of that and what residents in West Bloomfield and the Tri-Cities can expect coming to the library soon as part of that generous gift from this big award.
Sure. So as I mentioned, we renovated some spaces, we built partnerships, we did a lot. One of the things from the community needs assessment that people really wanted to see were more ebooks. Ebooks are so popular. They're hugely popular. So with this award, we received a $1,000 check, which is always great. And so with that check, we want, again, to give the community what they're asking for. So we plan to put that $1,000 towards the purchase of ebooks. Ebooks aren't cheap. So we'll be able to get probably somewhere between 20 and 30 ebooks, which is nothing to sneeze at. And so you can expect to see more ebooks coming into the catalog fairly soon. And that we will I think this award, the statue will be on display. We'll put it with the 2009 statue, and I want to put it in the display case out in the front lobby at the main library so everybody can see it, and then send it to West Acres. I was joking with the staff that I felt like it was the Stanley Cup. We should pass it to all the departments so everybody has a chance to see it, and the public has a chance to see it. So I think and as a visual inspiration, just keep going, keep doing what we're doing.
23 years that the State Librarian's Office has been bringing this award out and providing it to communities across the state of Michigan. West Bloomfield's now won it twice. Kathy, I'm a sports guy. Once you get a couple of championships under your belt, you're not just in greatness territory, you're in Hall of Fame territory. I'm not gonna put that kind of pressure, that kind of moniker on the library, but I think we got ourselves a Hall of Fame library here across our 4 communities. Anything else before we let you go today?
Well, I just mentioned, one of the things I got to give some remarks when I accepted the award, and what I said, the state librarian presented the award and took some of the highlights out of the application. And, just to hear it read out, I was, thought, okay, we really did do a lot, but it's all things that we should be doing and things that we want to do. So I guess I just want to tell you and tell the community, keep those ideas coming, keep the feedback coming. We really do want to hear it, and just come by and see this award because we share it with you.
More information on their hours and all their services, and even on this special award, can be found on West Bloom LIB on Facebook or WBLIB.org. Kathy, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Tyler. Take care.
Kathy Russ, a very happy director of the West Bloomfield Township Public Library, as they have once again been given the Citation of Excellence from the State Librarian's Office. Their second time doing that, the first in 15 years. Live, local, social, it's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. We'll take a quick break. On the other side of that break, plenty more to celebrate for one of our longest standing businesses in the 4 communities. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. Bringing you stories and memories from West Bloomfield. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I'm Gina Gregory, president of the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society. I'm excited that Civic Center TV has reached 1 million views on YouTube. Congratulations, that's just terrific. We appreciate everything Civic Center does for the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society and the community. For us, they promote and highlight our events. It's awesome to have them available 24/7 on YouTube. I'm Gina Gregory and proud to be 1 in a million.
And now, back to The Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Kieft. Thank you for being with us today, and if you're just tuning in, you missed most of our program up to this point. It's always available on demand on CivicCenterTV.com, and we encourage you to follow us for all these special segments and more original programming from across our 4 communities, across social media, YouTube at Civic Center TV, as well as on Instagram and X at Civic Center TV, and of course on Facebook. You can follow us a little bit different at Civic Center TV 15. Over the weekend, a special celebration in West Bloomfield for a local business that's been capturing your life moments for a number of years and had a chance to celebrate one of their major milestones themselves. Our reporter Jake Schaff has the story.
Just recently, a local photography business reached an incredible milestone as Height Photo in West Bloomfield celebrated 100 years of business, bringing customers inside to take a look at several unique ways of capturing your photos, preserving them, and keeping those memories for a lifetime. But as those who know the business best will tell you, it's those family bonds that help keep everything together.
I'm 3rd generation, and my brother's daughter, Julia, is 4th generation, so this business has rapidly changed over the years, and we've been changing with it to try and keep current with all the stuff that's going on. We're really happy to be celebrating 100 years in business today as our celebration of that.
It's great. We just love the local community. It was started in Detroit, so it's always been in this area by one of the local families, and we just love the people who come to us. We love our clients, and it's nice to see them supporting the family so much.
What is it about Height Photo that stands out from other photography places?
it just, you can tell how much the family cares, and everyone who works here, we joke that we're all part of the family, but it's really true that they take us under their wing, and everyone just really cares, and we try our best to preserve your memories and fix up the color. And like a lot of other places just print the stuff and don't even look at it, we always look at the pictures. If someone's shadowy or if there's a crop wrong or something, we always contact you and try to make it the best it can possibly be.
We've packed the store with scanners and archiving, capture devices for slides and home movies and prints and anything you can dig out of the basement, because everybody has this massive problem with that kind of stuff. It's important to their family. They don't want to lose it. People come in, use our collaboration tables here in the lobby. We help them break it down and figure out what it's going to cost to save their family's heritage, and then you can share it for free to the rest of your family. We love the community as it is already, and it's funny because we've had customers come in today that have been customers for 30, 40 years even, and they are finding things that they didn't even know because we have the behind the scenes open tour for today, and they're really enjoying it, and we're really enjoying showing them what we do every day is fun too.
I think it's amazing. I think it's wonderful that there's still this type of thing for people to come to. I've gotten a ton of Christmas ideas here, so it's great. I hope they keep expanding, and I hope people keep taking pictures and having all these wonderful things to share.
How do you hope to see the business continue to grow throughout the next 100 years?
Well, it rapidly changes. Like we go to conventions yearly to find out all the new technology, but man, you almost need a convention like every month by how fast this industry changes with the cameras and the image capturing. But one thing always remains the same, and that's that imagery is important to people. Doesn't matter how we capture it in the future. There'll be another way or a different way. Maybe on eyeglasses in the future. We may not have phones, but people are still going to want to share their memories and their trips and their things with their friends and family, and that will never change, and we'll always be here to help. Luckily, we've got more kids coming down the line, so hopefully there'll be a fifth generation of Height Photo people.
It's always an incredible feeling to see a business like this thriving after 100 years. And from what I've seen today, I have a feeling they're going to be carrying on for 100 more years and beyond. A big congratulations to everyone at Height Photo, and here's hoping that they can capture many more memories as the years go on. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff.
A snapshot in time of plenty of snapshots across time being captured by families across Greater West Bloomfield and beyond with the team over at Height Photo. Congratulations on 100 years for that business close to home right here in West Bloomfield Township. Close to home in the Tri-Cities, a special celebration for the spooky season kicking off in 2024 for the first time, a special Halloween spooktacular at Rose Sorter Park in Keego Harbor. They're calling it Keego Harbor, and it's going to be a big celebration for the entire family just before Halloween Day itself and all the fun trick-or-treating across all the neighborhoods in Keego Harbor. Joining us for more information is the co-chair of this special event in its very first year, Julie O'Brien from Keego Harbor Parks and Rec. Thank you for being with us, and let's get right on into it. Julie, give us the lowdown on everything that's going to be happening at this special first-time Halloween event happening soon in Keego.
Keego Harbor is a free-to-attend community event happening Saturday, October 26th from noon to 2, like you mentioned. It is made possible by the Keego Harbor Parks and Recreation Commission and many of our wonderful businesses. As this is our first year hosting this event, we focused on creating a kid-friendly, fun afternoon full of Halloween activities. It has been inspiring to see how much the local businesses want to be a part of this event and give back to the community in a fun and interactive way. And we've already seen so much community support, so we do intend on making this an annual tradition and progressively building on this to offer more events and activities for residents of all ages, even though this one is more kid and family focused.
Yeah, this often is the case with Halloween, but this kind of plays into what we've seen grow over the summers in Keego Harbor, where you have so many events all throughout the summer for the kids, for the families, for people of all different ages. And now we're seeing Keego Harbor Parks and Recreation start to make that move to really incorporate that sort of spirit in the fall. So now, when did the conversation on making a Halloween event begin, and how did all this come together?
So it started in the spring when we were planning the block parties. And the community just loves the live performances so much. And it's always heartbreaking when the block party season ends. So we really wanted to incorporate some sort of a new fall tradition where we can have fun and laughter and live music. So we only announced this event early this month. So it's a very fresh event.
It is, and like you said, you just announced it in the recent weeks here in Keego Harbor, but already a ton of excitement from sponsorships from local businesses, and I've seen the comments on your Facebook page at KH Parks. There's a lot of excitement behind people wanting to bring the family out to this event. So how has that response factored into A, your continued planning for October 26th of this year, and B, factoring in making this a regular new tradition in the heart of the lakes?
Well, that type of outpouring support and excitement from the community is what keeps us doing these events. Even a lot of our residents don't know that the Keego Harbor Parks and Recreation Commission is entirely volunteers.
Yeah.
We all have families and careers that we're working with full time, and but the community support and excitement, I mean, it's a joy, and it makes us all very excited to put on events like this.
Julia O'Brien is with us from Keego Harbor Parks and Recreation. They're co-chair for Keego Harbor, coming up on October 26th. That is a Saturday in Keego Harbor, just 5 days before the Halloween celebration. On its formal day, it will be celebrated specifically for those in the city of Keego Harbor and their friendly neighbors as well. And you talked about it, you just mentioned it. It's entirely this group in Keego Harbor. Your committee is entirely of volunteers who work all throughout the year to provide fun and activities and camaraderie for the community through these events. As someone who is part of that volunteer community and part of the greater community, how has the nature of how Keego Harbor interacts with others in Keego Harbor helped to inspire you to lead this event and try something new for the people of Keego?
Well, it's hard to say no to something this fun. We've got a special performance by the Ultraviolet, which is a talented band of local students who will be performing at the event. Through the support of the local businesses, we're able to provide pumpkins to give away with a pumpkin sticker decorating station. We'll have a trick-or-treat trail with businesses set up along the path around the pond, giving out treats to all of our costumed kids. And as always, the West Bloomfield Library has generously partnered with us again to provide some take-home crafts. And I mean, it's just going to be so much fun. We've got a haunted tunnel, we've got cider and donut, temporary tattoos. It's going to be a howling good time.
Yeah, if I were a kid looking for some fun to have in the community to celebrate Halloween, and I had to choose between going door to door on a cold evening, not knowing what I'm going to get as far as candy collection or something fun like this, I'd be saying, Mom, Dad, let's go out to Rose Sorter Park and have fun with our neighbors in Keego Harbor on October 26th. It sounds like something that's really great. And you mentioned bringing in the West Bloomfield Township Public Library for some special activities on top of that earlier on, of course. You mentioned the outpouring of support from the local business community. How does partnership factor into being able to not only put these events together from your volunteer standpoint, but make them interesting and make them uniquely fun for the people of Keego Harbor?
Well, the businesses have been so excited to be a part of this, and the idea that they're able to participate with the community in an interactive way, and get that face time with residents who maybe haven't had the privilege of stopping into those businesses yet. You know, it's a wonderful way to connect everybody together. So.
And when you galvanize that kind of support from the business community, it's usually because you've garnered that sort of support from the general community. Certainly is the case. A lot of excitement on social media for Keego Harbor on the Facebook page of Keego Harbor Parks and Rec. You can learn more information about this event and all the other things happening in the heart of the lakes all throughout the fall and all year long. Facebook.com/KHParks got all the details for this event that's coming up on October 26th, noon to 2 p.m. at the gazebo at Rose Sorter Park, just behind City Hall. You'll find that gazebo. That's where you'll know you're at the right place at the right time for a Halloween spooktacular in the heart of the lakes. Just like that, we're out of time on this edition of The Splash Live, and we thank you for tuning in. You can always keep up to date with us on our website on civiccentertv.com, on Facebook, X, and Instagram, Civic Center TV 15 on YouTube, Civic Center TV 15 on Facebook, on X, YouTube, and Instagram at Civic Center TV as well, and of course on our website. I want to give a big thank you to our entire team, Calvin Brown, Kevin McIntosh, and Jake Schaff, for the entire crew at Civic Center TV. I'm Tyler Keefe. Thanks for tuning in to The Splash Live.